Okay, our next presenter is Donna, clinical nurse specialist here at Redneck Memorial, and her topic is It's All About the Mouth.
Okay, I'm noticing a theme with the CNSs. We're choosing music. So Ellen had the one from the movement, and so we have All About the Mouth. It's like all about the bass. And I'll have one more song in a few minutes with this. This one's going to be a very short presentation because we haven't actually started this study yet. This was something that I read about and thought about, and thought, you know, we've done such a good job with ventilator-associated pneumonia. We got our rates way down from when we first started working on this. But the population of patients that we have not looked at are patients that aren't on a ventilator who get a pneumonia while we're here. So it's like getting a VTE while we're here, developing sepsis while we're here. We don't want these things to happen to our patients. So, so the definition of it is a pneumonia that occurs within 48 hours of admission. If you're diagnosed with pneumonia, the first 48 hours, the assumption is that you have developed it at home and you're coming in with that. But if you've been here 48 hours and then a pneumonia develops, it was developed here. So then you have some CDC criteria, and the significance is it has a real high mortality, and it increases the money that either the insurance company or that we spend on taking care of the patients. It increases how long you're in the hospital, and these patients come in again and again and again if we don't treat them correctly or with that. So 9 out of 10 dentists recommend brushing your teeth. And that's really what it's about. It's about brushing your teeth. And that seems real simple, but when I worked med-surg, and my first few years in ICU, we did brush our patients' teeth. If the patient didn't take it upon it to do them themselves, we didn't do it. And when you look back, you go, well, why wouldn't you do it? We just didn't think about it. We did other things. And what we know is this biofilm develops on our teeth and on our gums if we don't have teeth. So even patients without teeth need their gums brushed because we have to get rid of this biofilm, and it develops from not being there at all right after you brush your teeth to 24 hours later having this really big gob of biofilm on your mouth. So I looked at our patients and said, well, okay, maybe this isn't a problem here. Yeah. So we ran a report and looked at the ICD-9 codes that are associated with developing pneumonia while you're here in the hospital, and there was 146 patients between January and September of 2014. Their average length of stay was 29.52 days. So one was here 161 days. Their mean age was 60 years. What I was surprised about was there was a number of patients that were rather young. The youngest was 17, but we did have one that was 94, so it was quite a range. And it was a little bit more male than female. So then I figured out the rates, which is the number of patients that develop the pneumonia over the number of discharges per month times 1,000. And you'll see June. June was a really bad month for our patients. We had a lot of patients. But still, our rate was from 3 to 4, 3 to 5 on the other days. So it is a problem. It is a problem here at Carolian. Mostly it's Gram negative. And this was what really surprised me, is 36% of the patients went to a nursing home and 25% died. Now I know that's what was in the statistics, but when I actually saw it with our patients, it was like, you know, oh my gosh, we can do something to help this. So what we're going to do is I've received a grant from Sutter Medical Center in Sacramento that was sponsored by Sage Products to do a multi-hospital project. And so we're going to have 24 hospitals. The first part of the study is just to find the patients and define the problem. So it's going to be a chart review. And so what we'll do is we'll look at all of 2014, identify the patients by their ICD-9 code, but we'll be a little bit more specific in applying the CDC criteria. Sometimes, I don't know if y'all know that our charting is not always real accurate, and I found that when I was doing the post-op pneumonia study, if I had just looked at the patients that were readmitted with pneumonia that had that pneumonia, I would only looked at like 14 patients. But what I did is I looked at anything that looked like it could be pneumonia, which my favorite diagnosis to look at was giddiness. actual giddiness diagnosis. So I looked at the patients that came in with giddiness, also fever, shortness of breath, all those things, and found out 100 and almost 200 patients had pneumonia when they came in. It just wasn't called pneumonia. So you have to kind of dig down in the charts for it. So we're going to form a team, and my poster out there has a sign-up sheet for anybody that you know that's interested. This will be med-surg patients and PCU patients, because we've kind of got the back stuff taken care of. We still need to work on our patients that aren't on the ventilator with their mouth care, but we're going to start with our med-surg and our PCU patients. If we need to, we'll revise our oral care policy. We'll do education, and if we need any new equipment. I know there's a misconception that if you swab the patient's mouth, you're doing mouth care. Well, if you're swabbing your patient's mouth, you're doing comfort care for their mouth. You're not getting rid of that biofilm. The biofilm actually takes, you have to have a toothbrush, you have to have bristles to knock it off and suction it out of their mouth. So we've got to get past just swabbing their mouth and saying, oh, we're fine. That's just for comfort. So what we're hoping to do is we'll decrease that rate, decrease length of stay, decrease cost, decrease readmission, and decrease mortality, which we saw when we decreased our VAP. We saved the hospital lots of money, and the important thing was we saved a lot of patients' lives. And so I want us to see us do the same thing with this. So any questions?
Donna, I have one. The patients that went back or went to the SNF, the 30-some% or whatever, had they come from?
See, that I don't know.
Okay.
I will look for that this time. I didn't think about looking for that the first time, where they came from. But I will, with this study, I'll look to see where they came from. So that's one of the things I'll add to it. And if I can, I might add like a mortality index to see if these patients are, of course these patients are sicker. I mean, we all have in our head who develops a pneumonia while we're here, and it's people that are laying in the bed in the room and they don't get up, and we don't make them get up, and they curl up in the ball and they just stay there for whatever reason. And so we know who the patients are. We just need to not let them do that. We've got to get them up. We've got to get them mobile. We've got to get their head up, and we've got to brush their teeth. So. Any other questions?
Will you be looking at how many of these people develop sepsis while in the hospital?
Maybe. When I was going through, I just am finishing up a study on post-op readmission rate, because we started doing chlorhexidine. Every patient at Roanoke Memorial, inpatient and outpatient, is supposed to brush their teeth and rinse with chlorhexidine before they have surgery. And when I had my colonoscopy a couple weeks ago, I got to brush my teeth, and I was very proud of them. That's all I did.
What did it taste like?
It does not taste good.
But your mouth feels so clean.
No, it didn't.
I had to have it done, and I thought, gosh, you feel like it's no bacteria in there at all.
It feels like it dries your mouth out, even before I had any medicine. But I guess I was expecting it to taste like something like Listerine or something. No,
it didn't taste good. But
it doesn't taste good, and it stays there, and it's like, ugh. But I didn't get pneumonia. But what I noticed with my patients, because I was pulling all these charts with fever and shortness of breath stuff, there was a lot of septic patients and a lot of patients that had VTEs. And it's not something that we normally identify. And so while I'm doing the chart audit, I may kind of pull that in as a side. That's not part of the study. Oh, and the study's called HAPPY. So every time I do anything with the I do the little happy dance, because it's happy. It's Healthcare Associated Pneumonia Prevention Initiative. So HAPPI, happy, the happy study. So, okay. Any other questions? Okay. I will know the number of patients that go to ICU though after they develop the pneumonia, so that'll be a clue. But sepsis was one of the ICD-9 codes with that post-op pneumonia. Thank you.